Hello there, viewers. It is I, the magnanimous DZ Maven. And it is a new month, and it is time for a new game. This time, court is in session. In sesh, as they say. So as you can see, this is the GreatAceAttorney Chronicles. This finally came out in the West last month, and I eagerly picked up a copy because I never really talked about that much on stream, but I am kind of a fan of the Ace Attorney series. I played through I got the original trilogy remaster on the Switch a while ago. Played through that a couple months ago. Very much enjoyed it. I played through the games before on the DS. In fact, I still have some of my copies of those games. Very good game trilogy. Probably one of the better gaming trilogies in my opinion. But for those who don't relate, or obviously I think most people who might end up watching this know what game this is and what this kind of is. But for those who don't know, the Ace Attorney games are something of a... I don't quite want to use the term visual novel game. They are kind of like that, but I think of them more as detective games, if that makes any sense. Because usually you'll spend... There's the two big things you're going to do most of the time in these types of games. You're going to investigate stuff, and then you're going to be in the courtroom trying to suss out witnesses on cross-examination, which is kind of the other half of the game. So, but anyway, there's a lot of text in the game, obviously, because it is, like I said, it isn't kind of like a visual novel, but it's usually have pretty good characters. I have never played this, even though this has been out in Japan for... I don't know exactly when it came out in Japan. It was a few years ago. It's been a few years, so it actually took this... I think, I want to say around 2015 or so, 2016, 17, maybe, probably around then. But yeah, it's finally made it to the West. Finally, after the... I'm still not 100% certain if this has been confirmed. The reason why it was delayed was because of a particular popular detective character, whom the estate that owns him is very litigious, or if that's the... Probably not saying that correctly, but anyway, he goes by a different name in this game, so we don't have to worry about that. Anyway, a couple things to note here before I jump into this to begin. The options. Options for this game are actually pretty bare bones from what I've seen. It's not too bad except for the one glaring thing, which I have noticed other people point out as well. You see what's missing on this screen here? That's right, folks, there are no volume sliders in this game, so I've had to run a few recording tests to try and balance this game out as best I can. Since I really don't have a way to control the volume too well through OBS, so I had to make some adjustments here. When I was playing Xenoblade, I had to adjust the volume in-game to kind of sound good. Can't really do that here, so I had to find other means. So I think I've gotten this to a point where I can sound good and the game is audible, so I hope this will be okay. The other thing is, I wasn't really sure whether this game is entirely voiced or not. It sounded like, to me, some parts are and other parts aren't, so I'm not really sure. But just keep this with that in mind. I know this is a very text-heavy game. I am not going to be reading out every line of dialogue in this game because there's a practical novel's worth of dialogue in this game, so I'm not going to do that. Besides, everybody's going to be talking in British accents, and I don't know whether I can keep up a British accent for that length of time. So, we shall see. Shall see. I'm already messing my lines up already. I'm not even saying anything yet. The other thing, special contents here. So, I'm just gonna show this real quick here for anybody curious what this is. Apparently there are achievements in the game, even though this is the Switch version. And we got a little gallery, which has some nice artwork of the characters, including concept art of the main character here. They tried to make him originally look a little bit like Phoenix Wright, but I think they made the better option, making him look unique instead. See, he could have looked like this. I don't know what's up with the middle portrait, the ponytail sticking straight up. That would have looked kind of weird, but whatever. And we have the other characters in here too, so we'll see them all eventually. So, moving pictures. I haven't really looked at this too much yet because I don't want to spoil myself too much. I only really looked at this one here, which is a little thing between Phoenix and Ryunosuke. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm probably gonna mangle the Japanese name, so please don't get on my case about that. just saying. This is basically audio, music test, and voice lines. If you want to listen to Objection...
Objection!
Objection!
Hold it!
Hold it, okay. The famous lines. Escapades, I don't know exactly what this is. I think this may just be summaries of the cases, maybe? That would be my guess, so I'm not going to really look into that. The Taylor thing I already kind of looked at. This really only applies to the second game, so none of this will matter in the first game, so... But anyway, that's just what the special features are, so why don't we just go ahead and begin? Because I kind of want to get started here. Select Adventure. Or Resolve. Resolve is number 2, so let's start new game. Now, I am going in blind, like I said. I haven't really played this before, or I know very little about this.
The Empire of Japan, after opening its doors,
it takes place in England for the most part.
Brought great waves of Western
and we have a jury system
to this far eastern island nation.
That's about all I really know.
The revolution washed over the land.
I'm very curious to see how the jury system works.
Exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
We have an actual anime cutscene. Remember when we had anime cutscenes in Xenogears? That was like so long ago. That was like so long ago.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Well, it's not a good start when you start off the game accused of murder. So. But to be fair, I think that happened to Phoenix at least once in Trials and Tribulations. Supreme Court of the Judicature. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Ooh. Okay, this is not an important character because he has A, no eyes, and 2, he doesn't have a 3D model, he's just a static 2D image. We know this guy's expendable. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save the glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Naruhodo. Okay, let me practice this a few times here. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Naruhodo. I'm probably gonna end up saying Naruhodo or something a few times, so don't get in my case, please. Ryunosuke. I'm just gonna call him Ryunosuke, because I can say that pretty well. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. For murder. Well, that's enough. Somebody. No. So he's important because he actually has a 3D model. And eyes. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? What's that? Is that some kind of Western thing? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue, or I will take it from you with my sword. Yes, technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. You're a noob. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. I don't know how I got accused of murder. And why is there such a strong breeze in the courtroom like this? Your bandana is like really flowing in the wind like that. Even though we're indoors. You noticed, huh? Contradiction there. Don't you think? There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Murder? Who said murder? You said murder. I said murder. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asobi, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's... You cut my line off. How did you do that? It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyer is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Murder. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. I hear they have tea. Lots of tea. It's a different sort of tea than our tea. I'm very curious about it. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. And we can eat fish and chips. And find Yorkshire pudding. And other British things like beans on toast. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. I mean, look, they even have a fan in here is blowing my bandana back. Just like there was an actual breeze in here. See you in English class tomorrow, then, partner. And that was how it all began, with murder. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Murder. Who said murder? You said murder. I said... Why did you say murder? Sorry. Right, I have a word. Okay. I didn't know who that was. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to a judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for a defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. Was he the one I murdered? No, he couldn't be. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. Should I say something? Well, why does he have a puffball around his neck? If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. Best friends? How did you know? As such, I feel you should know that I'm actually best friends with him, too. Know what? Well, as you no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, he'll be sentenced to death. I'm afraid that his permission will be revoked, and never granted again. He will be forever barred from entering any foreign country, ever for the rest of his life. He will never live down the shame or embarrassment. So don't fuck this up, Ryunosuke. I'm warning you, even though it's technically his job. What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean, peculiarities? I never heard that word before. You'll soon understand, once proceedings get underway. But, then what should I do? Well, technically you're the defendant, so you don't do anything. Naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? Are you asking... Is this a marriage proposal? But what will the question be? Surely not asking my hand in marriage. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Oh, you just want me to declare I'm guilty. Okay. I see how you want us to play this. Burn me. Watering time. I have lots of water. I have 2 bottles of water here. Now I'll try not to dry my throat out too much here. Of course not. Defendant. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Ah, it would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? You will have to cut your head off for that. Get moving. There's no point... Ugh, excuse me. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. You are scum. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Involving murder. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. Destiny. So this is a courtroom. It's much bigger than I expected. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. They have no faces. It freaks me out. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. Why? A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now... You need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. The gavel and a familiar face. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Is this the question? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... Well, I'm defending myself, which is probably not a good idea in court. That's generally against proper legal advice from every source I've heard. So, you don't want to defend yourself in court. But, you know, this is fiction. This is a game. We can do whatever we want. I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I'm curious. Can I... Oh, I can save. Cool, we say. Out of curiosity, what happens if I do wait and see? Because sometimes I like to just see what happens here. Kazuma is the lawyer here. I can't defend myself. That doesn't make any sense. If I said I do, it'll be tantamount to lying. And I've been accused of murder, for goodness sake. This is no time for lies. Try to stop fidgeting, Ryunosuke. It's distracting. But if I don't say I'll defend myself now, the game won't go on. Things could end very badly for my friend. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I am standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will yes. Okay, so the game's gonna decide for me. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... what? What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba... Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now before trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that... I can't decide for myself, so I do that. The game forced me. Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotobo. I said Mikotobo again. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, I'm supposed to say something. Yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. I mean, look at the way my eyes are just darting all over the place. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I hate that word. It throws me off. Judicature. Judicature. The Judicature. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous, I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. As if you didn't actually prepare for a trial like I did, you know, because I'm an actual lawyer, not you. And you know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of the R button. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press R button for the court record. Alright, there's no time to lose. This is the list of everything of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with R. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, press the B button to go back. Alright, so what do we have here? Taketsuchi. Ouchie? Ouchie? His name is Ouchie. Ouchies! John Wilson. Okay. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People's section of the court record, then press X to present. Try it now.
Yes!
You know, I had to do that just to see what happens. The victim's name is... Stop. You're just saying a random name. You're saying a random name, but you came across in the court record, aren't you? Darn it, you found me out. How did you guess? It's blatantly obvious. From your wide-eyed look of bewilderment. I must say, you are not instilling the court with much confidence here. Quickly, give him the correct answer before he turns his gavel on you. Find the victim in the People section of the court record, then present X. Okay.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Tist. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Oh, that's Ryunosuke. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. He spoke English. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime, where murder happens. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait, but aren't we an empire too? I've seen that man in university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. Konnichiwa, English or... So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? What is that? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. Navicular reticulum caused by loss of blood from gunshot. Or, my yes! Collar pin. The evidence that clearly shows the victim's cause of death is, of course, this. And on what basis do you present this evidence? Well, because it was in the court record, of course. So it must be important. Slow down. Why did you pick that? Isn't there something more relevant looking? Well, now that you say that, I suppose... Pick the wrong piece of evidence again, and it won't be a mystery as to your cause of death. Remember, I have a sword here, and don't piss me off. Yikes, he sounds and looks deadly serious. My own lawyer might kill me. Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Now do it right this time, or I'm taking your finger off.
Yes!
Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the Postmortem Report, I take it. Sorry, yes. That's right. The, Postmortem Report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. So I say now. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. Please be careful, this is very valuable. We don't have very many cameras in Japan at this time. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. It didn't destroy the table, I noticed. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record, because it is modern and scientific. Very new concepts for Japan at this time. So that's a photographic print. Wow, that's something I've never seen before. Does it really steal people's souls when you take pictures of them? Oh well, I guess it didn't work in this case because he was dead already. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Mostly. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. The murder. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. I mean, seriously, where is this breeze coming from? Who is this fellow? Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. I'm sorry, I seem to be bleeding today. You'll have to excuse me. I had the bubonic plague, I'm sorry. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some red substance. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Don't worry about it. It's not like I'm dying. Yeah. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. We can't have that. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have a few diners at that time of day. I do want to point out here that one thing I have learned from previous Ace Attorney games, if you just want to have an easier time, don't be afraid to take notes. So we're talking to Hosonaga here, so a lot of times these games will, I think especially in some of the latter Ace Attorney games, they will, you really have to pay attention to specifics of each piece of testimony a witness has. Because you will be able to contradict them. It's just sometimes you won't be able to do it in the order that you want to do it in, which is basically jumping ahead in the logic, which has always been a problem in some of these games, but... So, for instance, he states a specific fact here. For example, that it was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We had few diners at that time of day. So he's stating two pieces of facts here. You got one, he states a time, which is 2 p.m., and there are a few diners at that time of day. Those are relevant pieces of information you need to pay attention to. So, at 2 p.m., few diners, and that's all you need to remember from that piece of statement here, because we're going to be cross-examining him, I assume, in a bit here. So we're going to check our evidence and see if any of that matches up with what he's saying here. The last time Rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied, so... 3 tables occupied. Because we're going to do this scientifically. With science! As a particular character from... Oh, what was her name? I forgot already. Hold on, it'll come back to me. Science girl, I can't remember her name. Dang it. She has the pink glasses on. She was only in, like, Case 5 in the first game. And she was in the Investigations games. I don't remember her name, dang it. Whatever, it might come back to me later. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. Sorry about that, I'm still bleeding. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. Alright, he was in the kitchen. This might be a slower process, but I'll ensure I don't miss anything. Then bang. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to a dining area to see what happened. Okay, gunshot. Single gunshot, I assume. He hasn't mentioned the second one. One gunshot. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. Okay, so we found the victim in the chair. Found victim in chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Alright, so here he states, beside the victim was defendant with gun. Was defendant with a gun. Okay.
Yes!
Yes, I confirm that. Hold on. Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. Not what you saw. But... The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. I will start by taking your pinky finger off. And each time you will be penalized, I will take another finger off. Do you understand? Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. I can't stand this. So impatient. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Hold up. Okay, he already contradicted himself, because he stated there were 3 tables occupied. So who was at the 3rd table? See? This is why I take notes. Unless you have a very good memory and remember all this stuff off the top of your head. So we already got him on something now. Just have to wait for the game to let me get him. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello... Oh, there was just somebody else there. Okay. There was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Ah, he didn't say that. Okay. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? The thing is, I don't technically know if we're in the cross-examination stage right now, or the witness is just talking. I'm gonna interject and see what happens here.
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? Or he really shouldn't be defending himself? Maybe that would be the more obvious thing here, but I'm sure of what I saw. Hosunaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. It's just so convenient that I made this ahead of time. Please, have a look if you'd like. Alright, so that's the layout. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment layout drawn by yourself, I presume. Okay. So he did state that 3 tables were occupied, so I assume that one table... Okay, well, one table is the victim and this mystery woman. The second table, maybe he was talking about the one that Ryunosuke and Kazuma were at. So that still leaves a 3rd table that was occupied that we haven't really talked about yet. And he states he was in the kitchen. I don't know which room is the kitchen there, because I can't really read the kanji, so I don't really know. Maybe they'll explain here. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well, I didn't intend for you to do that. I mean, really, seriously, you don't have to do that. Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Please don't look at the other side of that. Don't look at the other side, don't look at the other side, because my other job is listed on the other side. I want you to know. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. It could be he has the COVID. Waiter's business card has been added into record. The head waiter's business card is on the back. What's on the front of the card, though? I'm curious about that. I wonder if we can, like, physically examine evidence and rotate it around and everything. Because that was something they had in, like, Case 5 of the first Ace Attorney game that I really enjoyed. And I was always disappointed that that you couldn't do that anymore in the other 2 Ace Attorney games that came after. I know they eventually brought it back for, like, I think Apollo Justice and beyond after that point, but it's a cool idea. I hope we can do that here. So, the court has now heard a precis of the case. Yes, At the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Yeah, come on, we can't decide that early. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency? If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. Okay, so I assume that must be the people at the third table then. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? Have some balls, man, what do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Only if you actually did it. Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Or are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Bring it on. Indeed. Prosecutor Ochi, please continue with the proceedings. Sisk. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses, plural, I mean. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Immediately. So I don't get to cross-examine the waiter? Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant. Ayase Noza. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Kyoryo Korokuta. Korekuta. At your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question. Always post-noon. I don't know if that's relevant information here, but I might make a note of that, too. Who is this dude? Korekuta? Korekuta. He does tea post-noon. Okay. I just want to make a note of that. Tea post-noon. Alright. And not infrequently, converse with interested parties regarding the curios of which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiquities, and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Murder. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. It's like they're speaking a foreign language. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Did he? I didn't notice anything. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. When can I cross-examine, please? Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw, at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. Alright. Okay. Time to take notes again. So yeah, Korekuta, and we have, this other dude. What's his name? Noza. Okay. Alright, Noza, what you got? Mr. Nose. I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Okay. Having steak. Probably not important, but I'll make a note of it anyway. Having steak and speaking with old man, okay. Even with the other man who is we'll just call him Corey. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. I'm just gonna use his word. Extolling. A gold curio. Okay. I don't know what the curio is, though. Curatinosa. Alright. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. Alright, so Noza saw defendant fire Okay. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. And from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Oh, you ass. That was too obvious. Okay, but we're gonna make a note of that here. Basically says he shot the victim in the back, which is incorrect. So, okay, so we already got our first contradiction. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Oh, so his thing was stolen. Okay, well, let's make a note of that. So he wasn't looking at the scene, he was looking for his curio. Looking for his missing curio. So somehow it disappeared in the moment. Okay, that definitely has something to do with something. Alright. Well, so you, Sergeant Noza, actually witnessed a vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Apparently from the wrong side. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. Okay, I heard it that time. There was like a weird noise. I don't know what that was. It sounded like a squeaky toy. Does he have like a squeaky toy in his shoe? Why does this dude have a knife? What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. This is a very curious knife. Where did I get this from? I can't remember. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. I know it was a stupid thing to do. I don't know why I did that. I mean, seriously, it's not like any, prosecutor in the far future would do something as stupid as that. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. An English-made gun. No revolver. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, bang. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And a second gun. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Finally, can we do that? It's only been like an hour into the game now. Cross-examine? Do it now! As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare... Yes? Yes? What? Are you admitting to it? What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Oh, what? We don't do that here. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Ah, he's so hot. Why can't I be more like Kazuma? Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright. This is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Before I break my hand. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Slap. Alright then. It's all or nothing. Cross-examination time, finally. Finally we can go on the offensive here. Alright, so we have an option to present or press. Now, I already know where the contradiction is, and where we can probably get him. Because we can get him with the photograph here. Because the man was clearly not shot in the back. He was shot from the front. Because he said the victim was shot in the back by the defendant, so that's clearly not correct. Let's see this card. Can we... Magnifying glass. Oh, we have a magnifying glass. Cool. Don't know what purpose this serves. No, the thing is about I want to know about this is exactly where the kitchen is. I guess this is the kitchen over here. I'm just kind of going back to the witness testimony here because I wish we could have cross-examined him, but because he said he was in the kitchen when he heard the gunshot. So I'm guessing he couldn't see the victim from where he was? It looks like there's kind of several openings here. Alright. Postmortem report. Victim was John Wilson. Time of death was shortly after 2 p.m. Okay, so that matches up with the waiter. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. Okay, so we definitely... That's a double confirmation now, but that he was shot from the front. Okay. And university collar pin, can't really do anything with. Can I look at the profiles? No? I can't look at profiles. Okay. So maybe I'm not able to present profiles in this game. Alright. I guess I could press him just to see what happens here.
Yes!
What kind of steak was it? A steak. I don't know what that is. What? Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Actually, I was going to ask about the steak. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then. This beef steak you mentioned. I was just joking about him asking about the steak. Okay, fine, we'll go with it. This beef steak you mentioned. What kind of food is that? Tell me about this steak. What is it made of? Is it made from a pig? Or a chicken? I don't know. Attention! Beef steak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Objection? Veal? I've never heard, beef referred to as veal before. Veal is usually referred to like deer meat. Unless this is some, like, really old-timey thing. That where veal is referred to any type of meat. I could be mistaken on that, I'm not really sure. So I'm not. There's a very tepid objection here. Oh. It's meat, I wasn't sure about that. If food could receive medals of honor, beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet. Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. What is a cutlet? This... How am I predicting what he's gonna say? How? This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Does it cut you? Tension! Ah. Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep-fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and win your release from prison. Try it. If you live to tell about it. Yes, sir, I will, sir. On the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but how about trying to stick it to questions that are relevant to the case? I mean, you're the one who told me just ask whatever comes to mind. Oops, sorry, I'll do my best. So, next question. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing sort of wah sound? Negative! Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what question to ask. Yeah, you got an achievement. Myself, I was extolling the virtues. Well, let's just press. Let's press everybody. It's always fun to see what happens when I press everybody. That's always been my tactic in the game, is just press everybody, because sometimes you do have to press everybody, because then they'll cough up relevant information and get added to the testimony. And then they'll contradict themselves. I have no idea what you're talking about. A koban, boy. A koban? You mean an old Edo coin? The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoi period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant that the following day with said item secreted in my bosom pocket. I just kind of want to add this. There was a coin. Just adding that to my notes here. Because it might be useful information on them. In the hope of an affluent cognoscente, I've never heard that word before. Appraised of its indisputable value being present. So, you were hoping to sell your koban coin. The koban coin. And it basically said it was in his pocket. Okay, whatever. To Sergeant Noza, whom you met at the restaurant? Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. Boy? You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious koban. Actually, no, I don't even know where Ryunosuke was going with that. Isn't that so? Well... You little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination. No, I didn't say anything. To you. Although penniless might be just the word I was looking for. In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remain precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect. I see. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. Yeah, let's see what he says here. Give me more information about that. So, you're saying that you actually saw me all that time? Saw me at that time? Affirmative. I saw you. Laughing. cackling like a madman as you train the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. So he says he was laughing. Okay. But that's impossible. I don't have a voice. I can't laugh like that. Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table. Yes, that actually would be a proper assumption. And so what if I was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Okay, Kakazuma's is pointing out the contradictions for me. Alright. A double My sixth sense. Sorry, a what? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means... a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, Cadet. Bullshit. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I've got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well... it would seem the soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. Yeah. And from the back, you cowardly little weasel. Please give me more information about that, please. Please tell me more. So this black uniformed university cadet. You're saying that this was... me? Ah. I've had just about enough of your sauce, Cadet. Your spicy sauce. Who else do you see around here in a black uniform, Kazuma? The judge? Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well, but... it was you, you little weasel! You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great empire Nippon. You disgust me. Right, a little lights going off in Ryunosuke's head now. What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind, like... my lawyer senses are tingling. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. You shove it in their face. Present the evidence to the court. First it in the witness's face, just like what I said here, okay. And make him choke on it. Well, I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded Princess Curio. Yes, I actually do want to know about it. No, I want to know more about that. I don't know that's going to do anything. Let me just see what he says. On your hands and knees. Could you explain that, please? That's right. Spurning the arthritis I was, in order to retrieve the lost piece. What lost piece are you referring to? The Koban, of course. The exquisite Huey-era Koban coin. I had just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. Okay, so... I guess I have to conclude that the military man stole the coin for some reason. I don't know why he did that. I mean, was it worth looking for the coin? I'm just gonna know Spanish when looked away for a moment. I want to know why he looked away, though. The Koban. vanished. Hence, I began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it. And then it happened. Okay, so he was looking down when the gunshot happened. Okay, that's what I assumed. Universe coin, remember missing curio when gunshot happened. Okay. So he didn't see the gunshot, he just heard it. You heard the gunshot, you mean? None other than, though it was no concern of mine, I was frantically scouring the floor for the aforementioned lost treasure. So, in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred. Indeed, myself, I did not. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Listen, Ryunosuke. You know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is, how? I forgot how to work the buttons. I don't know how to do this anymore. Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You examine and present evidence while witnesses giving testimony, pressing the R button. Go through each witness statement and detail the body, police, and barrel facts. Okay, I know. Somewhere in there, you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. An inconsistency. When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seems to contradict each other, present your evidence with the X button and rip the witness apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty, and the judge will chop off one of your fingers, so you don't want that to happen. If you're dealt too many penalties and lose too many fingers, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict, and also you'll have, like, no fingers left. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record and find an inconsistency with a witness's statement. Alright, I'll give it a try. You can hear the witness's statement over and over again as many times as you like, because the game will pretend that we're doing this the first time every time. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. We're such wonderful partners. Okay. Okay, I already know where to get him, so... Press my phone, resist charge. From the back, okay. English and print the photograph. Objection.
Yes!
Or yes. Why does he say yes instead of objection? What? Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the right piece of evidence to present. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. Sis, what nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. It's called objection. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here, in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Go some balls, Ryunosuke. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? I can't see with these glasses on. You're going to have to explain it to me. It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there is a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Ayesa Noza. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back of a cowardly little weasel. Those were your words exactly. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
Yes, you did. But no. But yes, but no. Yes. No, but no. That just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because it's illogical. Because I don't know what to do here. Kazuma, you take over. Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? You have a second head growing out of your back. Oh, I'm sorry, that's my conjoined twin. Ignore that. What the... What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Noza? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were on my conjoined twin, firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesa Noza, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
Yes, I agree. No. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor, like an idiot. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot, either? We've already confirmed that. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Oh yes, you were looking for your Koban coin, weren't you? Indeed. The prized Hoei-era Koban. Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. Bang. Bing. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me. Nothing. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? Let me guess, no. No? Okay. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. Like somebody with a nose. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send the full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels, it must be to the British. It will be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ochi? Sis, worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. You mean they can say more things? I didn't realize this. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed the despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kuriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Waiting signal to testify. Me and my conjoined twin back. So please ignore that. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Noza family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. It wouldn't seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido. Teen-shun! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Was the kid present at the restaurant too? I'm curious about that now. Because if the kid was present, also at the restaurant, I wonder if he stole the coin. Just a possibility. I'm kind of speculating ahead of time here. But anyway, more testimony. Let's see what we have here. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm just gonna say didn't see the actual firearm because this piece of testimony is irrelevant. Didn't actually see the discharge, whatever. I'm just put that there. I can already tell this piece of testimony is irrelevant. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was that young lad in black. That much myself I did see. Okay, so Cora is also saying he saw the defendant with the gun. Although he says he saw a young black man clad in black. You gotta be specific about this. Saw a young man in black. Pointing the gun. Okay. Okay, so wait, okay. Okay, so he saw a young man in black, but he's not okay, well, let me see what else he says here. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. So Noza says no one else was present. I assume that just means him, Corey, the shooter, and the victim. Maybe he's including the... maybe not the waiter, I'm not sure. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. For victim alone. Okay. No. Oh, can I look at the profiles? Oh, okay. Alright. Look at profiles again, because I didn't get a chance to look at the other profiles here. He's a visiting professor of medicine. Head waiter. Army sword in Empire of Japan. Recitate. I'm wondering what table they were sitting at. Oh, the thing is labeled now. Okay, so the kitchen is right there in the entrance. Okay. So it may have been possible to see the victim from the kitchen. Alright. And let's make sure there's nothing else I missed in here. So after 2 p.m. Yeah, it was a room. Shot at close range. It was shot at close range, not from across the restaurant. Therefore, no other than the black uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Alright, so I know that just...
Yes!
says it could have been the victim. Wait, that's nonsense. Yes, but no. Yes, but no. Says it could only been victim. Could only been defendant. Okay. Okay, so that's all the notes I have on that. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. We have to prove that, Ryunosuke. We have to find some evidence to prove that. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
Unless she turned into a baby. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. See, this was taken at the time they were dining. Don't ask me how I got this. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel? Look at that delicious steak. Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Okay. You got fork, knife, glass, wine glass, flowers, steak. Somebody had some of the steak. Okay. But the chair is facing backwards the wrong way from where the victim was shot. Okay. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. It is also scientific. A bottle of carbonated water. Did they have carbonated... Did they really have carbonated water at the end of the 19th century, which is when this is supposed to take place, I think. I don't know if they had carbonated water. It might actually be wine and they just censored it for the game. Because sometimes sometimes Nintendo games censor out alcohol, which would make more sense if it was a bottle of wine. Because you would normally have a nice wine with steak, not carbonated water. That would be a very weird combination. I can't really imagine it, but whatever. I don't understand. Well, why is there carbonated water there? What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintained that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witnesses' testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Ochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It is not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. A conspiracy. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth. In your cross-examination, cut through it with your sword of justice and truth. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood? Tisk, rules can be so unbending at times. Alright, let me see. Was there anything that really contradicted them right off the bat? Didn't actually see his charge. The only thing I can think of is that they didn't actually see the face of the defendant. They say young man in black, but that's the only thing that's said. So they are assuming that the young man in black was the defendant. That's the only thing I can possibly think of at the moment to catch them on, but I have to find a way to show that there could have been some other person in black there. But I think this is probably a situation where I have to press them and hope they cough up some relevant information here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press
Yes!
No. Yes, I mean no. Yes, no, yes. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. And as you can see, you couldn't tell because I can't see through my glasses, and neither can you. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. See? Makes perfect sense. Have what? Attention! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. He's very insistent that it was the defendant. I think that has been established. I think that says it all, don't you? And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. I don't know whether Corey is contradicting himself here. Hold on. I mean, Corey didn't actually see the gun get fired. But I don't know why I didn't react to... Okay, something doesn't feel right here. Isn't that so, Corey Kute-san? Yeah, there's something going on with this guy now. Press him.
Yes!
Press. Why does he say yes when press? I want to see if say hold it. Because when he yells yes, it kind of sounds like Ryunosuke is like, yes, that is what I did. No, stop saying yes. Yes, it may be true, but I was holding the gun at that point in time. Okay, so we saw him at that point. After the shooting, when he picked up the gun. Is that when he saw him? Hold on. But I told you already. That's only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee, and I was about to leave the restaurant when... I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up, like an idiot, which I shouldn't have done. And at exactly that moment... Bing! Beep. A gunshot rang in my ears. So the gunshot came from someplace else. Hold on. When he shot, he was facing away from the table, so it means he could have been shot from the kitchen. Actually, no. Actually, no, I take that back. That couldn't have been correct, because he was shot at close range. So somebody shot him at close range, behind Ryunosuke's back when he picked up the gun. But yet everybody's saying they didn't see anybody else there. I don't know, I need more information. Full events beyond our control, life is. Sorry? What do you mean? In your case, you found the pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. But was he already shot at the time? Let me put a question mark next to that on my notes here. I'm just gonna say... possibly after RH picked up the gun. I'm just gonna put that there. That's the only thing I really kind of established from that. Oh, wait, no. I want to press some other thing. Go back. Confirm that we were the only person present. Okay. Exactly which people were present? Please tell me. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. No, that's not the question I would ask. Ryunosuke, come on. I want him to specifically describe each person who he said was present, so I know exactly who was present. Come on. You must know someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
Objection! As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course, the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is never here nor there in terms of a time to eat. Unless you have like a late lunch. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why she was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there is indeed a reason. Oh, do tell. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. Gimme, I want to see what it is. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. He aced his grades in medicine. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Okay. Horta Clinic. Yes, there would appear to be an entry for the date in question. The Horta Clinic. that was in the second and third Ace Attorney games. In the future. In the future. In Japanifornia. Or whatever place the Phoenix Wright games take place in. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not? I mean, I don't know if not all the rules of this game have been established to me yet, so I don't see why it would hurt. I mean, just put it in evidence anyway, just in case. I'd say better yes than no.
Yes!
It could be useful. I don't know. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? It establishes why he was eating so late. The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon. You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's the most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Kindly. Okay, I want to look at this just to see if there's anything important here. Is it anything important? We'll see. I can't examine it. Okay. Alright. Or from the Hoda Clinic. Okay, well, we'll hang on to it, I guess. I'm gonna use magnifier glass. Magnification. It must have been a very low power pistol to not go through the victim. Yeah, I guess maybe guns back then weren't super powerful, or at least like maybe that pistol wasn't very powerful. Hold on. Are these the same table? It looks like there's nothing in the glass there. And it looks like there is liquid in the glass there. Also, it looks like the flower vase has been moved. I'm not sure about the steak. It looks like it's not eaten here. I'm not sure if that's the same table. I do want to say that this case is reminding me a bit of, it was the, I want to say the third case in Trials and Tribulations, I think. There was a very similar sounding case to this, where somebody was killed at a table, and it's like, but I swear there was somebody else sitting at the table. Why does nobody confirm there was somebody else sitting at the table? This case is feeling very much like that. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right. I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Okay. Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. I'm not sure about that. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korikuta-san. Okay, so wait, I pressed him already. He says no one was present. We did get... I'm gonna say we added the medical card there. Let's make sure our medical card explains why the victim was there at 2 p.m. Alright, let's see what we can get out of you.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on the point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table. A meal for one. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, for no one another black uniform cadet over and out. Okay.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? That's not a proper objection. Come on. What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. We have to prove that, Ryunosuke. Come on. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Acting a little suspicious there. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? Well, we had the waiter, too. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, but you didn't get to cross-examine, unfortunately, for whatever reason, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But I... If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. Yes, we need to find some proof of this. I agree. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. And there's nothing I can say to that. Tish. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. You've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Can we? How exactly? By using your eyes, Ryunosuke, come on. You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A button, and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use R stick. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. Yay, we get to do this. By using L stick. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. I'm ready to do this. Let's go. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press A button to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Oh, I want to examine the waiter's card. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use R stick, L stick, and A button to inspect any areas of the evidence that look suspicious. Dentist. He went to the Honda clinic for a dentist. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of a long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. I don't even know what that is. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So you don't like doctors, then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible-tasting medicine. They give you painful injections. And they just make you feel worse, and they put, like, leeches on you, too. Like, why would anybody do that? And then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege. Oh, when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. You just wait until you get a heart attack, man. Look at the name, Mr. John Wilson. It says Hoda Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics, almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I ever had in my life. Wow, you only had one cold in your entire life? Okay. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Why would they give you an injection for a cold? Why? Even back then, why would they have done that? I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people give their right arm to have had only one cold in their whole life. Thank you for pointing that out, Kazuma. That was kind of weird. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where we treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Health curiosity. Okay, let's open this up. Okay. What do we got here? Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. So he had his tooth pulled out. And he was eating a steak? Not sure that adds up. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Would he have been going out to eat when he was still recovering from the effects of anesthesia? That doesn't add up. Okay, whatever. He was there at the restaurant, that's already been established. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there is a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. So he was not supposed to be eating. We don't know if he was ignoring those rules, though. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Corrugated dental work on the day of the murder, the victim undergone dental treatment, and had been prohibited from eating or drinking anything but water. But there was carbonated water. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So, I think it's time to listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Can I examine the other pieces of evidence, please? I want to look at the other things, can I? I want to look at this. What's on the back of this? Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Interesting. What is this? Well, that's unexpected. What is? What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. Read the thing, Ryunosuke, come on. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here. The waiter was really a policeman. He's an undercover detective. Okay. Really an undercover detective. Okay. Interesting. Why was he there? Detective. Okay. Well, now hold on. If he was a detective, he might have had a handgun. So he might have been the actual shooter. Maybe? Okay. But if that was the case, why did he shoot the man? I still don't know where everybody else was situated. The plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything in the moments following the incident. But there's nothing to show the woman you say you saw there. I'm gonna be guessing now that the woman was actually there, and she was a person of importance, and the police are telling everybody to shut up and hide the fact that she was there. That would be my guess about what's going on. Let's see if I'm right. Exactly. That's not all. Look here in the upper left where it says kitchen. Oh yes, what of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen. Especially not if they were in a hurry. I guess not. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself? Don't you? Study harder, Ryunosuke. I guess that's the only things to do here. Okay, so he could not have been eating the steak, because that would have been strictly prohibited. So, was he... Was he shot in the kitchen and his body was brought out to sit at this table? Because clearly things got moved around on the table here. Can I examine this? Oh, I can. 901. My personal student number is engraved on the back here. If you lose your pen, they won't accept you as a Yume student at university. You may not come in, they say. It's a pun. Did you get it? Of course. You can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. It's 0091. Okay. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. It's 901. Come on, dude. How hard is it to remember? I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere, but then I forget not to forget that. Yeah, okay. The symbol of Yume University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like this spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although it does cause problems, lots of students end up cutting their fingers on their badges, or sticking themselves through the chest and accidentally bleeding out. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders. A sharp pin for a sharp mind, or something. Like that, yes. Okay. Alright, let's go back to the testimony here. So, the contradiction is it could not have been eating steak at the time. So does anybody say that? Didn't see this terms. No one was present. Victim was alone. Okay, so the victim could not have been alone. So somebody else was there eating the steak. Okay. Alright, I think we can present on this here. Let's do it.
Yes!
That statement is clearly odd. I'm guessing not? No? What appears to be odd is the way you're presenting yourself. Oh, pay no attention to Excellency. As you wish. Now kindly lower your hand so I may take one of your fingers off. Chop! Ow! My thumb! Let me save here. Alright, let me think here. Alone he was, dining by himself. Okay, let's try this one.
Yes!
There we go. Alright, it was that one. Well, I think, about what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. You did, right? Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, I really want a steak right now, and thanks for the advice. Always talk about steaks. I want to try a steak now. Korakuda-san. This is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Stop. I just squished a bug with my hand. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. Have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But it's the only thing I can do. Let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. Actually, we already know it's relevant now. But that's... Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have you interrupting me. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hoda Clinic issued a report card as a dental clinic. A dental clinic? What is that? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? A tooth? What is that? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. You mean he couldn't eat? How could he live? Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure, while anesthesia wears off. What? What's anesthesia? I don't know what that is. No, that can't. Korakuda-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What? What is this nonsense? You little upstart. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? Delicious beef steak, and it didn't finish it. The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Yes, we are ready. Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. You got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been me. The two witnesses, the victim himself, or the anesthesia. Okay, well, the correct answer is obviously the third party here. So. I really want to know what would happen if I say it was me. I want to find out. You know, I just have to do this. It was me.
Yes!
Yes! I think it may have been me. What? It's not enough that you took the man's life, but you took his meal as well. That's a bee sting on a crying face. Some people seem to think they can do whatever they like. And some people seem to think they can say whatever they like. Ryunosuke. I'm so disappointed in you. Sorry, you're right. Of course I didn't eat it. The next time you make a quip like that, I'll make you eat your words. Then you'll be needing some dental surgery yourself. Alright, I get the message. Personally, okay, so it didn't penalize me for that. Okay. Alright, well, let's go with the third party, Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
Yes, yes. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, I will have to unleash my sword. We will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma, we can do that? Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them. Those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously, you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? What is that? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? No! Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. See, I was right. They were told not to talk about the woman. By the policeman. By the detective dude. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korakuda-san? Oh, no. You didn't hear anything, I didn't hear anything. You were just following orders. Now, hold on, lad. I was, Say you never saw the gentlewoman. Korakuda-san, why did you fuck that up? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean a woman? You saw the victim with a lady from overseas. What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements. How can that be? That's impossible. Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order! Order! Counsel, explain what is going on here. Will you have liars in your courtroom? It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? It was a detective. Come on. Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Elchi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It can only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. And we happen to know a policeman. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Evidence, man. Remember how we made progress before? By stumbling through pressing people? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right, I remember. We already did that. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. Oh, well, it's good because I already did that. I want answers, stop talking amongst yourselves. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, No time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head. Mom! I mean, no. Maya, help me! No, wait, no. That's wrong game. And besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary evidence to manipulate witness is... the victim. No. This dude.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock! Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of intelligence, influence, I mean. For once, I would have to agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? You mean he's not? He moonlights as a bartender? Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest, you know. What the back is. You know what that is, right? I beg your pardon? The back? What is that? Or perhaps I should have said the front. Yes, it's the front of the back of it's the back of the front of the card. I'm getting all confused now. It's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. I don't understand. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched a plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession. But that's surely a waiter, right? Wait, no. Good gracious. Good poppycock, Holly. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective. I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? Why am I not mentioning this to me anything or whatever? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... And he appears. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say, you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Are you really not paid that well? Ah, of course. Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Before you answer that... Undercover? What's that? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hoshinaga. But you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have to be aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that you're a big fat liar. That in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Him. Pardon me, my ketchup is bleeding from my mouth. I like chewing on ketchup packets. Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. Bang. Bing. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. Did Ryunosuke not notice this at all? You would think as a detective he would have confronted, the supposed, attacker. But I guess not. Okay, well, whatever. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say you were requested to make a stake? Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was to kill her? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishwoman and an Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect would mean it would be a problem between English people and not us, which would be probably better. Maybe? No. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. I am almost at like 3 hours. Wow, I hope I'm getting close to the end of this case here. But it's not right. What's not right? Of course it's not right. What do you mean? What is right? I don't know what that is. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? We have girls at the university? I never knew that. Nobody told me. You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean... When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demanded you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle. I'm gonna call her Giselle. Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty. What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of the ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So, it won't be a problem. Nothing will get in my way of justice and all those delicious ketchup packets. Yum. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Yes. Your Excellency! Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Court is adjourned for now. Alright. I did hear that a lot of these cases are going to be generally longer than the ones in the original Ace Attorney games. So I'm at my 3-hour mark, so this is probably where I'm going to stop for tonight. Maybe we'll continue with the rest of this case next time I stream. I'm surprised I kept up speaking all the lines as long as I did. There's always so many fun characters in these games, so we'll see how long I can keep up voicing everybody. But this is probably a good place to stop. So, alrighty, we will continue this the next time I stream, which will be, I don't know exactly when, later this week, at some point. Maybe Wednesday, or maybe tomorrow, we'll see. We'll see if I feel like streaming tomorrow. If not, it'll be Wednesday. Alrighty, yeah, so far I'm feeling kind of impressed with the game. Definitely a lot more dialogue and story heavy than the original Ace Attorney games. I was aware of that kind of going into this year, so. But anyway, yeah, we are making some headway. This is definitely a more complicated case, I would say, than the typical first trials from other Ace Attorney games. Most of the typical first trials in Ace Attorney games can be done pretty quick, and it's pretty obvious what's going on. Here, it's kind of taking a little while to kind of uncover what's going on. It's not that hard of a case. I mean, there's definitely harder cases. This is just maybe slightly above the norm for a starter case, I would say. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. So, I kind of wish the whole game was voiced. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to be trying to voice the entire thing myself. But, I mean, whatever. We can't always have everything we want. But, whatever. I'm enjoying it. I will look forward to continuing this. And, yeah, next time. Anyway. That is it, dear viewers. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time when court returns. Bye-bye. They have the plague. They have the plague. Seriously, I wonder if the detective, like, shot himself or something. I don't know what's going on with him. We'll find out next time. Alright, bye-bye.